I really applaud Gary Neville talking about topics that other people just shy away from. I see a lot of men on marches that want these flags up. They are white, angry men who are dissatisfied with their own lives, and so the only way they can do it is by going out and being like that. And I saw them, and there was evidence of these men probably drink a lot. I'm sorry, but just by the shape of their bodies.
Is the Daily Mail saying, oh, well, that puts Gary Neville at odds with Keir Starmer? How'd you work that out, lads?
He is not.
He has made it to the top for pure hard work. We should knight Gary Neville, not condemn him.
Hypocrite. He's a champagne. He's actually admitted he's a champagne.
Oh, so now you hate successful people because they don't share your politics. What happened to free speech, Malone?
It's interesting, isn't it, that the moment Gary Neville makes the scourge of anti-white racism acceptable, lots of other people are now piling on. And they are the usual suspects, of course they are. But I'm still going to call them out for it because I think it's disgusting. So you'll remember Sky Sports now facing a boycott, even though they intend to take no action against Neville for wrongly blaming last week's Manchester synagogue attack on middle-aged white men. Watch.
The division that's being created is absolutely disgusting. Mainly created by angry, middle-aged white men who know exactly what they're doing. Funnily enough, on one of my development sites last week, there was a Union Jack flag put up, and I took it down instantly.
And of course, because he is a white, middle-aged, angry man, dissatisfied with his own life, that has allowed now lots of other hard leftists to pile on white men in a way that if this was any other type of group, you know, they would be cancelled for. Look at Saira Khan on the Jeremy Vine show claiming that these middle-aged white men are also angry alcoholics with weight problems.
Well, I agree with him. I think I really applaud Gary Neville talking about topics that other people just shy away from. I see a lot of men on marches that want these flags up. They are white, angry men who are dissatisfied with their own lives, and so the only way they can do it is by going out and being like that. And I saw them, and there was evidence of these men probably drink a lot. I'm sorry, but just by the shape of their bodies. And I don't care if that sounds controversial. I'm making a judgment on their appearance, wearing capes. You know, they had the scarves wrapped round as capes.
Oh, I see, yeah.
You know, and I was kind of filming them and they were giving me gestures. And I just thought, you're saddos. You're absolute saddos.
Hates middle-aged white men. Happens to be married to one, though. James O'Brien got in on the act too.
Is the Daily Mail saying, oh, well, that puts Gary Neville at odds with Keir Starmer? How'd you work that out, lads? Seriously, here's the person using the flag as a tool of racism. Here's the person saying we must never let them use the flag as a tool of racism. And here's Gary Neville saying some people are using the flag as a tool of racism. That puts him at odds with Keir Starmer, who said we should never let people use the flag as a tool of racism. You see how it works? Once you go into this weird tumble dryer of bigotry and prejudice, logic disappears.
Benjamin Butterworth attempted to defend the indefensible on GB News. If you're enjoying what we're doing here on Outspoken, please consider joining our thriving community over on Substack, www.outspoken.live. You can sign up completely for free, but Substack is so important to me. It is a free speech platform. It protects me from big tech cancellation. Plus, you get to communicate directly with me. Head on over www.outspoken.live, enter your email address and sign up today.
But what he is actually doing here is speaking as a middle-aged white man who is from a working-class background, who's extremely successful.
You can't.
And actually, he is speaking as someone who understands that part of the world.
He does not.
And he understands that there are people trying to exploit these tragedies, trying to exploit the attack on the synagogue, trying to exploit the attack on the mosque.
This is a multi-millionaire ex-premiership footballer.
He's exactly what this country needs.
Who lives in an elitist bubble, who all the problems of this country do not touch this man. He is not.
He has made it to the top for pure hard work. We should knight Gary Neville, not condemn him.
Hypocrite. He's a champagne. He's actually admitted he's a champagne.
Oh, so now you hate successful people because they don't share your politics. What happened to free speech, Malone?
Who pretend to be working class people and to understand the British people. He has no clue about how the British people think.
But of course, as I always say, anti-white discrimination is the one form of racism which is just totally accepted in society. With Sky Sport, despite a massive boycott growing, escaping punishment altogether. This was the reporting on this. According to the Daily Mail, the comments not expected to trigger any punishment in relation to breaching Sky Sports guidelines on contributors' conduct on their own social media channel. But listen to the guidelines, right? Talent and contributors should be aware that social media communities are public forums and should not undertake activity that brings either their program or Sky into disrepute. Well, it clearly has. And again, I'm a free speech absolutist, so Gary Neville can say whatever he wants, but I just stress the fact that if this were a white man making the comments about another ethnic group, they would be cancelled so fast they wouldn't even get home. Now, what's interesting is that Gary Neville's own builders are furious about his comments. Look at this. The construction workers who had been flying the flag at his St. Michael's office redevelopment site in Bootle Street, Manchester, outraged by his intervention. One worker accused Neville, who has become a property developer, of being unpatriotic and suppressing free speech. He said that the former England footballer saw the Union flag as he walked past and immediately went to the gate and asked to speak to the construction site manager over the radio system so he could demand it was taken down. The employee exclusively told the Daily Mail he was walking past when he saw the flag flying on the 5th floor, along with a Moldovan flag and another one. He got on the radio to one of the workers and started asking why the Union Jack was up. He only mentioned the Union Jack, not the other two, and said it had to come down. So basically, Moldovan flag, absolutely fine. That can fly in Manchester. The Union Jack, bring it down. What a madman. Obviously, he is the boss, and we are not going to argue with him, but Union flags are normally put on building sites. It happens all over the country. Gary Neville played for England, but he won't let us put a flag up to celebrate the country where we live. It's caused a lot of anger. This wasn't discussed. We were just told he didn't mention the Moldovan flag or the other. He only had a problem with the Union flag. Afterwards, we had to do toolbox chats for everyone about political messages on the building site. Basically, we had to explain why we can't have flags and we can't express our political views because Gary Neville says we can't. Now, not all football players are going along with this narrative. Kudos to Joey Barton and Matt Letizia.
Then we have this pillock, Neville. Now, he's crossed over with me because, as I said to him in Rio last night, look, I'm more than welcome to debate both of you. Let's roll for 2 hours, discuss any topic. Gary, you sat in a room with me when we did the Edge podcast. I'm not, don't need to be scared of me, but intellectually, I think you've got a lot to answer for here. You're a lad from Bury who has not once mentioned the Gloomingans scandal that's affected not only your area, but lots of those surrounding the areas. You've also been at Davos where you were asked that and you said about, no care about politics. You pretended to not know that Donald Trump had been elected as the US president, the 47th US president for the second time. So, you said you were there to talk about something, somebody's tweeted, and maybe the chat will tell us, this Costello thing, which is maybe something to do with lining your own pockets again, you fucking money-grabbing little whore. Oh, the Qataris, but you still popped up out there. And
actually attack the demographic of people that are paying his wages.
Do you think Sky will stand by him or support him?
Yeah, I think they'll stand by him and support him, yeah.
Why do you think that?
Well, I mean, they stood by Jamie Carragher when he spat at a young girl out the back of his car, so, it's not quite as bad as that. So I think Gary's got a pretty fair argument there if they try and get rid of him. He's basically attacked the demographic of people that are paying his wages, which is a bit strange. I think it depends on what side of the argument you fall on, and whether your side of the argument suits the agenda of the current media, which I think for the large part is very left leaning, and so if you're slightly right leaning, you won't be given the good grace to make mistakes that other people will be given.
To the superstar panel, Alan Miller of the Together Declaration, Peter McElvenna of the Hearts of Oak podcast. Peter, again, this is so interesting, isn't it? Because I'm not calling for Gary Neville to be sacked or cancelled, but what I am saying is astonishing here is the fact that an organisation like Sky, which is so quick to jump on any bandwagon, thinks that blatant anti-white racism and actual lies, by the way, about who caused a terror attack which resulted in deaths is acceptable.
No, it is. And I think, Joey...
But first, you know how often I talk about the need for free speech to be protected, but I've been increasingly thinking of the need too for personal protection from snoopers, from bad actors, from hackers, all online. And I'm delighted to tell you I've found the fail-safe solution. And this virtual private network, or VPN, is a life changer when it comes to providing you entertainment and information from anywhere in the world, wherever you are. So I want to introduce you to Surfshark, an incredible, easy-to-use service that encrypts all your internet traffic, meaning your online activities stay safe so you can shop, you can stream, you can browse, you can conduct your banking in complete privacy online. But the benefits of Surfshark go way beyond keeping you safe. It also allows you to access your favorite entertainment and news shows and international streaming services like Hulu, iPlayer, HBO Max, Peacock, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, and if your favorite shows are geo-blocked, within seconds, you can be watching as if you're in another country. Really helpful, by the way, for traveling for work or on holiday. I did this recently when I went to Barbados. I could still get all of my favorite content from home using Surfshark, including sports. Plus, it's an insurance policy against creeping censorship in so many countries, which do block particular services like Rumble, for example. What Surfshark allows you to do is watch anything, anytime, anywhere. True freedom. Plus, and I didn't know this, a VPN can save you money, because you can get the best deals from websites that actually change their prices depending on which part of the world you are buying from. You can use Surfshark on unlimited devices, meaning your entire household can stay safe with just one subscription. And there are over 3,200 servers in over 100 countries, meaning a world of choice is at your fingertips with 24/7 customer service if this is your first time using a VPN. So go to surfshark.com/outspoken for an extra 4 months of Surfshark at an unbeatable price. And this is super important. Surfshark is so confident that it is the best VPN in the world that you can give it a try for a full 30 days. And if you're not entirely satisfied, you will get your money back. So go to surfshark.com/outspoken right now for an extra 4 months of Surfshark at an unbeatable price. But now, back to the show.
Barton is the male version of Kitty Hopkins. I really do. He just goes for it. Matt Lettice is much milder and gentle, but I love the way Joey just calls it out. And it's, I mean, again, growing up in Northern Ireland, we had flags all over. You knew what area you were in, whether it was Union Jack, whether it was the Irish tricolour, or whether it was the Northern Irish flag. And people celebrated their identity. They celebrated their nationality. They celebrated their culture. And I always find it interesting coming to London and not really finding a celebration of culture in terms of flags. And the only time you see English flags is at a sporting event where supposedly it's non-racist if the rugby's on or football, but as soon as the final whistle goes, you're back to being racist if it was put up. I mean, and Saira Khan, I mean, what? I mean, she's born in the UK. Her family are from Pakistan. Is the Pakistani flag she puts up? What flag does she put up? And it goes back to, where are your roots? What culture do you celebrate? Surely the flag unites everyone living here. And yet there's so much anger that's perpetrated by Neville, by the white woke middle class that have just turned on their own culture, turned on their own society, and mock and ridicule those who actually love their country, actually would stand up for their country. Actually, those flying the flags would be the ones, if we are called to war, would be there lining up to conscript, where the people like Neville would be far back and just refusing to support that. Maybe Gary Neville should learn the national anthem. That's what I would suggest.
Yeah, he didn't even sing the national anthem, did he? I mean, Alan Miller, where do you stand on this one? Because it does seem quite extraordinary to me that it is now just so accepted throughout our mainstream media. I mean, we look at those comments from Saira Khan, for example, like, so acceptable to just describe all white men, you know, like fat, alcoholic, racist, responsible for a terror attack. It just feels like it's open season on middle-aged white men. And Alan, I mean, maybe you
I
fall
think
into that category. So I'm wondering how you feel about it.
don't be ageist, Dan. Yeah, I think it's really despicable and it's really disgusting. And what Gary Neville has managed to encapsulate has been the elitist contempt of the public that's been developing over several decades, actually. But we talk about a technocratic elite, the Uniparty, but a group of people that are very similar, and they pour scorn on the great public, the British public, the everyday people that are down our streets, the people that keep the country going and that make it so wonderful, that have great virtues. And I'm very proud and feel very lucky to have grown up here, and think it's one of the most wonderful experiences. Of course, there are things that could be much better, and I'm gobby and I often argue against the problems here, but I am very grateful and I think it's a remarkable place. And one of the best things about it is the people. So I think it's contemptuous and disgusting, but it reflects the overview of the elite who keep doing this. And Emily Thornberry in Rochdale, I think it was in 2014, with the white vans and the idea of gammons and scum and far right and racist and white van man, and on it goes, right? These terms of derision, where really we're the backbone. It's the public are the people that make Britain what it is. And I think this is a really important moment, like with the discussion around the digital ID will solve all problems. It will solve the boats.
Oh, I know.
Right, this is the moment, right, where we'll actually see what it will do is intensify all the things you've been discussing on this show today. The problems of censorship, the spying and scrutiny on the right kind of attitudes on banking or on personalities, the fact that we'll be able to survey and scan everyone everywhere, and the idea that a government that has no solution to deal with borders or housing or resources or anything, but at the same time wants to smear the public, that then it will have some kind of central digital infrastructure. And now they're like saying that directors have all got to do it, 8 million of them. So that's why together we're saying no to digital ID, and we'd love all your viewers to be involved in that campaign. And I think because of all the things you've been discussing today, it's even more essential that we're aware of how people that stir up, they say they want to stop racial incitement, and yet they stir up racial incitement. They say, you know, the fact that Keir Starmer could only call the person a vile individual and couldn't name what it was that was really responsible for it, and the fact that so many people have danced around it, and Gary Neville then says the problem with people putting up British flags, astonishing with the gaslighting and the contempt. But you see, imagine a situation where we're having this conversation and you can just get switched off, or you could be prevented from going to a certain area, or you don't get to go traveling as a consequence of being on a central surveillance state, a biometric surveillance state by this state. And I think that that is something that it's great that so many people have said they don't want to have happen, but we've all got to fight against that and keep celebrating the virtues and the brilliant things here, and actually criticizing and ridiculing and making our voice heard together. The good thing, like I know there's a protest tomorrow in Whitechapel because of Tower Hamlets. The pink ladies are going to be there. I've first-hand experience with Tower Hamlets and their censoriousness and shutting down. They did it with nightlife. I've seen what they did with stopping filming going on there, a bit like Salman Rushdie moment because of Brick Lane, the film at the time, and the whole idea you're not allowed to say certain things or do certain things. And now an attempt, and this is the point I was referring to before, when we start banding around terms like extremist all the time and using that to shut people down, it will invariably come to all of us. And those who happen to be on the left, who are entitled to their views, but they should be very conscious of that cancel culture, because it will, as it has done, but it will start coming to engulf everyone. So I applaud the fact that the ladies in pink will be there tomorrow. I'd like to show my face there and support, but the women are doing a brilliant job, and encourage everyone in Britain to be courageous, right? When it's scary, and it can be very scary, right? And people go after your jobs, or they go after you. You've had first-hand experience of this, Dan. Many of us have had experience of it. But the more people that stand up and speak and say we're going to engage and discuss this, and say that we're going to thrash it out and we're not going to be silenced, and hold those who are promoting these ideas and really responsible, because in the end, there are lots of issues at hotels, there are a lot of issues at HMOs, there's lots of issues, but the real people responsible are the people that have allowed this to happen, that have encouraged it, that have hoisted these ideas onto everyone, then have the temerity to say, well, the problem is those who want to divide us, right? They've been the ones that have created this very problematic situation, and the more that we can address it and address it for what it is and begin to come to like deal with it and get to grips with it, the better for everyone. For that, we're going to need to speak freely and definitely not have digital ID.
Yes, very well put. And togetherdeclaration.org is the address. There you see it. No to digital ID cards, yes to a digital bill of rights. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.